What do you mean the opposite of faith is not doubt? Hey, everybody, I'm Pastor Nicole. Welcome to our midweek moment. I wanted to talk a little bit about this concept of doubt. This past Sunday, we heard the story of the lesser known warrior by the name of Gideon. And part of Gideon's story that we didn't get to really get into a whole lot is that after he is called by God to do this crazy thing, he kind of doubts God a little bit. He asks for a sign. And so he puts this fleece on the ground and he says, God, if you're with me, if this is the plan, if you're going to do what you promised to do in the morning, I want the fleece to be wet and the dry around it, the land around it to be dry. And so he wakes up the next morning. It's just like that. He wrings out the fleece because it is so wet, the ground is dry. But it's still not enough for Gideon. And so he says, okay, God, let's do it the other way, just so I can know that it wasn't a fluke and that it wasn't just, nature, but that it was you. So this time, let the fleece be dry and the ground around it to be wet. And he wakes up the next morning, and that's exactly what has happened. And so sometimes Gideon gets pegged for doubting God and asking for a sign. And to that, I say, good for Gideon. Doubt is such an important part of our faith. A lot of times we think the opposite of faith is doubt, but it's not. The opposite of faith is certainty. And a great theologian once said that by the name of Paul Tillich. And I really love that idea because faith requires doubt. You can't have faith without doubt. Not really. Because doubt is what brings us closer to God. It is what helps us to deepen our faith and really understand our faith, to take it from kind of a surface level understanding of God to a real, deep, true understanding of who God is. And without doubt, we really just kind of coast, I guess. I don't know. Doubt is what makes faith more real. When we go through seasons of doubt, when we go through times of uncertainty, that is when we really lean into God and learn about the character of God and how God will meet us no matter where we are, no matter what we believe. Certainty in our faith life can be a hindrance because sometimes we can find ourselves so certain of something that we shut out God. We shut out the possibility that God might be working in ways that we don't understand. We shut out the mystery of God because we think that we've got it all figured out. And guess what? Our finite minds will never have it all figured out. It's impossible for us to fully understand or know the mind of God. And so when we sit in certainty, we're really harming our faith. So I just wanted to give you something to just kind of chew on this week, to think about, maybe Gideon shouldn't be knocked down for asking God to kind of prove God's self. Maybe we shouldn't look down on Gideon for doubting. Maybe we should say, you know what? Gideon is an awful lot like me. Gideon is human, and it is human to doubt. It is human to want God to have a sign and to prove God's self to us. That's human. And so Gideon, maybe he's got it right. Maybe being more like Gideon helps us to draw closer to the presence of God, to draw a deeper understanding of God, to let our faith grow. So the next time you are in a season of doubt, don't think that you're working against faith. Realize that it's all a part of faith and you're doing all right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.